Well, according to the Census Bureau, 110 million Americans live in a household where someone receives some type of welfare benefit, and 47 million are on food stamps. Now, shouldn't be our goal maybe to help people to independence instead of keeping them dependent? My first guest lit up the podium at the Republican National Convention where she spoke about the lessons that she learned from her parents.
Let me tell you about the America I know. My parents immigrated to this country with $10 in their pockets and a hope that the America they heard about really did exist. When tough times came, they didn't look to Washington, they looked within. So the America I grew up knowing was centered in self-reliance and filled with the possibilities of living the American dream.
Well, joining me now is the mayor of Saratoga Springs, Utah, and Republican congressional candidate, Mia Love. Mia, it's so nice to have you. Good to talk to you again.
Hello, Governor. How are you?
Mia, I want to begin by asking about the president's word. He's used it before, sometimes specifically, and other times maybe in a roundabout way. The idea of redistribution. Describe for us why you think that's maybe not the best way for America to go about building an economy.
Well, here's the thing. You have to understand that I think that we should be compassionate. I think that we as Americans have always been compassionate. But if we're going to provide everything for everyone, then we are literally crippling our nation and there will never be enough money. What makes this country great is that we have the opportunities, ordinary people have the opportunities every day to do extraordinary things. If you take that away, then you create an environment of dependency. You create an environment where people are less self-reliant and ultimately less free.
Your folks came to this country, $10 in their pocket, but a lot of dreams. One day they took you to college orientation. Your dad said something to you. I want you to tell us what it was. What did he say, and how did it affect you when he said it?
Well, I took my dad with me because he's the fun parent. I told my mom she could stay. And you know, he got very serious and he said to me, Mia, your mother and I have done everything we could to get you here today. We have never taken a handout. You will not be a burden to society. You will give back. And that just stuck in my head, and I've taken those principles everywhere I've gone.
You have also been very clear that some people do need some assistance along the way. And you mentioned earlier that it's not about denying people some help to get out of the hole that they are in, but that hole that they're in ought to lead to standing on their own 2 feet. What are some of the ways that you would suggest when you get to Congress that you think this country could help people out of poverty rather than keeping them in it?
Well, you know, I think one of the things that we need to understand is when we talk about limited government, we're not talking about eliminating everything. We're just saying that everything has to be administered at the appropriate levels. So many times we leave our communities, we leave our cities, and we decide to solve a problem at federal government. And we know when federal government tries to solve everything, the same results always happen. Competition goes down, costs goes up, service levels, efficiencies go away. We have to give people the opportunity to help each other, to do it in their communities, to do it in their homes, to do it on a state level, instead of just going and saying we're going to have federal government try and fix all of our problems, because ultimately we end up having a centralized government and not a free society.
Mia, if you get to Congress, you'll be going there from having had the experience of being the mayor of a city, so you understand something about government. Tell me what you've learned as a mayor that you hope to take with you to Washington.
Look, we here do what we usually do in America and in this country. When tough times come, we roll up our sleeves and we have to make sure we make tough decisions. I ask myself 3 questions before making any new commitment. Is it affordable? Is it sustainable? Is it my job? And if it falls within those categories, then we can go and make sure that we're providing for public safety and we're providing for things that really people essentially need and care about. But if it doesn't fall in that category, then it's not my job to do it. And I think Washington can take a lesson from that. I think Washington tries to get involved with so much that we're ultimately making Washington bigger and people smaller.
You know, what you just said is, in essence, a message that I hope that you'll put on a big card, and when you get to Congress, pass it out to the other 434 members, because I don't think that's fully gotten through to everybody. Is it affordable? Is it sustainable? And is it my job? Because a lot of us feel like that maybe there's some things going on that really aren't the job of Congress, but they continue to try to get in the middle of it anyway. Do you think government is the primary way that we can eliminate poverty and disease? And if not, then who does make that happen?
You know, it's interesting because government, we spend $900 billion on poverty programs that's supposed to end poverty, but it continues to grow and grow and grow. We've got a president who judges his success on how much money he puts out into the community instead of how few people actually need them. Again, there's so many different directions that we can go.
Well, this audience here loves you. You should have been in New York today, Mia. They'd all vote for you, even if they're not registered. But you know, I don't know. Maybe in Utah you can't do that. Where I come from, you know, dead people and folks who don't live there can vote anyway, so it's quite all right. Mia, it's such a pleasure to have you. Thanks for joining us here today, and we wish you the very best.
Thank you so much, Governor. I appreciate it. Thank you.